Alright, welcome back to another episode of Math with Mr. Young. We're going to work on 8.5, the coordinate plane. Our standard is 6th grade number since C, and our objective is that we're going to be able to plot and reflect ordered pairs in all four quadrants of a coordinate plane. Our mathematical literacy, we have coordinate plane, origin, quadrants, y-axis, and x-axis. Alright, with 8.5, the coordinate plane, our success criteria is that we're going to be able to identify ordered pairs on the coordinate plane. We're also going to be able to plot ordered pairs in the coordinate plane and describe their locations and reflect points in the x-axis and the y-axis or both axes. And lastly, we're also going to be able to apply plotting points in all four quadrants to solve real-life problems. Alright, with our mathematical literacy, we have the x-axis, the y-axis, the origin, the coordinate plane, quadrants, and here we go. So the x-axis, this is our horizontal number line, okay, left and right. Our y-axis is a vertical number line up and down. And then remember that the origin is always the beginning. That's our beginning point. Now I'm going to read to you guys what a coordinate plane is, and then I'll do a demonstration. So a coordinate plane is a flat surface that is formed by the intersection of two lines or axes, and they are the horizontal number line known as the x-axis and the vertical number line known as the y-axis. The x and y axes intersect or cross at the origin, and the coordinate plane is divided into four quadrants, and the quadrants go in they go counterclockwise. So you start with quadrant 1 here, and then it goes to quadrant 2, and then quadrant 3, quadrant 4, all right, and back. Okay, so we're going to dive deeper into this with the demonstration that is going to follow. Alright, so for our coordinate plane, we have, I'm going to use this protractor here, and I'm going to make a horizontal number line. Okay. Now this horizontal number line is known as your x-axis. Okay, so here would be 0, the origin, okay? And then you have positive integers on the right side. So this is positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4, positive 5, positive 6, positive 7, so on and so forth to positive infinity. On the left side of the origin, we have negative integers, the opposites. So the opposite of positive 1 is negative 1. The opposite of positive 2 is negative 2. The opposite of positive 3 is negative 3. So on and so forth all the way to negative infinity. Okay, so we just want to refamiliarize you guys with the x-axis. The x-axis is the horizontal number line. Okay. Now the y-axis is our vertical number line. Okay, so the y and the x-axis, they cross, they intersect at the origin. Okay. Now our origin here, we think of like elevation. We think of positive integers and negative integers. And again, this is your y-axis, your vertical number line. So above the origin, above 0, you have positive integers like positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, positive 4, positive 5, positive 6, positive 7, so on and so forth to positive infinity on the vertical number line. Below the origin, below sea level, below ground level, sub levels, we have negative integers. Okay, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, all the way to negative infinity. Now again, remember that the coordinate plane here is a flat surface that's formed by the intersection of two lines. They are the x-axis and the y-axis, and they intersect or cross at the origin right here in the middle. Alright, so remember that the coordinate plane is divided into 4 quadrants. So we start with quadrant 1 in the upper right corner. Now quadrant 1, if you notice this x-axis, all these integers, okay, and look at the y-axis, all the integers on the y-axis in this quadrant here. So this is quadrant 1, and all the x values here are positive. So these x values are greater than 0. They are all positive integers for quadrant 1. And all the y values are also positive. So all the y values are greater than 0. They're all positive integers. So when we write ordered pairs, you have your x value and your y value. So your x value here, they're all positive integers. And your y value, they're also positive integers. And that's quadrant 1. Okay, we go counterclockwise. Now quadrant 2 over here to the left. Now look at the x value. All these x values here, they're negative. They are to the left of the origin. So we have here that all these x values are less than 0. Okay, they're all negative integers. And all the y values in quadrant 2, okay, they are also positive. Now y values are greater than 0. So for our ordered pairs, your x and your y values for quadrant 2, again your x values for quadrant 2 are negative, but your y values for quadrant 2 are positive. Alright. Now down below in quadrant 3, all the x values in quadrant 3 right here, they are all negative integers. So all the x values are negative. So these x values are less than 0. And all the y values are also negative. So all these y values down here are also less than 0. So when we have our ordered pairs, your x values and your y values, all your x values in quadrant 3 are negative. And all of the y values in quadrant 3 are also negative. And lastly, for quadrant 4, all the x values here in quadrant 4 are positive. So all these x values here are greater than 0. And all the y values right here are negative, and these y values are less than 0. Okay, so our ordered pairs here, your x values and your y values, your x values for quadrant 4 are positive integers, and the y values for quadrant 4 are negative integers. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, for our next example, we're going to plot ordered pairs. So here it says that we need to plot point A at -2 and 3, and point B at 0 and -3.5 in a coordinate plane. But we have to describe the location of each point. So to get to point A here, -2 and 3, so your x value is always first in the ordered pair. Okay, let me do a better job. And your y value is second in the ordered pair. I'll do the same thing down here. X value and y value. So to get to point A, looks like we're going to start at the origin. Always do that. Always start at the origin. But to get to here, we have to start on the x-axis. Go -1, -2. Okay, so -2. And then on the y-axis, I have to go up. So I have to go up +1, +2, +3. Okay, so to describe this now, we for the first one, point A, we always start at the origin, start at the beginning, okay? And then we move 2 units left. So 2 units left, and we also move 2 units left, and then move 3 units up, and then 3 units up. Then plot the point. Remember, the point is a vertex, is 0-dimensional. Okay, So there you go. And also, this is found in quadrant, not 1, but quadrant 2. Okay, so we're going to have to say the point A is in quadrant 2. All right, there we go. Now for B here, point B. So we always start at the origin here. And it looks like we don't go anywhere. We just stay at the origin. But we go down -1, -2, -3.5 to plot point B. Now we have to describe this. So again, we start at the origin. And the origin, by the way, here's your x and y axes. 0 and 0. That is the origin. So we start at the origin right here where the x and y axes intersect, where they cross. That is 0, 0. That is your starting point. So we start at the origin. We don't have to go anywhere because your x value is 0, but we just move 3.5 units down. Move 3.5 units down. Then plot the point. And this point here is on the y-axis. It's not in quadrant 3. It's not in quadrant 4. It's right on the y-axis. So we're going to say the point is on the y-axis. All right, my friends, there you go. You just plotted ordered pairs and described their locations. So when we have you guys do some problems and you come to this type of problem solving, this is what you would do. All right, with this next problem, we're going to reflect points on one axis. Now, it could either be the x-axis, okay, or it could be the y-axis. Okay, your x-axis is the horizontal number line, and your y-axis is the vertical number line. All right, so the first thing we have to do is we have to reflect -2 and 4 on the x-axis. So first of all, let's find that. Where is -2 and 4? So to do that, I always start at the origin. I move to the left, -1, -2. So I move to the left 2 spaces, and then I have to go up on the y-axis 1, 2, 3, 4. And here's where I will plot that point. This is here, -2 and 4. And I had to label it with the ordered pair. All right, so I went to the left 2 spaces and went up 4 spaces to plot that point. But I have to reflect this on the x-axis. Okay, so when I reflect it on the x-axis, here's the x-axis, the horizontal number line. So that would mean that I stay right here and I have to go and reflect it. Just like a mirror. When you look in a mirror, you look at your reflection. Okay, so the same thing. And this is in quadrant 2. So I want to reflect this. Oops, so this is quadrant 2, not 3. Quadrant 2. And I want to reflect this in quadrant 3 here. Same spot in quadrant 3. So if I went -2 to the left and +4 up, and I want to reflect that on the x-axis, okay, then I'm going to go -1, -2, -3, -4. There we go. And this is going to be -2 and -4 in quadrant 3. And here we go. I reflected this point on the x-axis. All right. So there you go. All right. So we did letter A. So that's done. So we reflected -2 and 4 on the x-axis. Now for B, we want to reflect -3 and -1 in the y-axis. So first of all, let's plot that first. Start at the origin here. Always start there. And we're going to go down 3, -3. Here's on your x-axis, actually. So here's your x-axis and your y-axis. All right, here we go. Start at your origin. So we on the x-axis go -3. So here's -1, -2, -3. Okay, we went to the left 3 spaces, and then we go down on the y-axis 1 space, so -1. All right, there we go. And I'm going to plot that point now. This here, my friends, is -3 and -1, right there. Now, we have to reflect this on the y-axis. So I just stay here, but I want to go to +3. And here's the y-axis. I just reflect it on the opposite side. Now this is going to be 3 and -1. So I reflect it on the y-axis, so that means I'm in quadrant 4. All right, well, there you go. Again, so when you reflect across an axis, all you do is pay attention to what it says, and we reflected here on the y-axis. So here's -3 and -1, and here's the y-axis, and we just reflect it on the opposite side. Same thing with -2 and +4. We reflected it on the opposite side of the x-axis, so right across. All right, so there you guys go. Ask questions if you guys have questions, and reach out. All right, we're going to go a little faster here. So we're going to be reflecting a point on both axes. So we're going to reflect +2 and +1 in the x-axis, followed by the y-axis. First, we plot this on the x-axis. Second, actually we plot first, then we reflect it on the x-axis, and then afterwards we reflect it on the y-axis. So here we go. So again, the first quadrant, or sorry, the first value is always going to be your x-axis. The second value is going to be your y-axis in that ordered pair. So we always start at the origin here. Now if we want to get to +2, we go on the x-axis, +1, +2, so we go to the right twice. And then on the y-axis it says a +1, so we have to go up. So right there, we're going to plot this point, +2 and +1, in quadrant 1. Okay, now it says that we have to reflect this on the x-axis first. So here's our x-axis, horizontal number line. We reflect it by going right directly across. So boom, right here. So this is going to be +2, -1. We reflected it on the x-axis, and then followed by means that after you do that, then you reflect this across the y-axis. So right here, and we just reflect it right across. So we go 1, 2 spaces over. So 1, 2, boom, right here. So this is going to be -2 and -1. So there we go, and we reflected that. Here's quadrant 4 and quadrant 3. All right, there you go. And you, my friends, just reflected 2 and 1 on the x-axis and the y-axis. So we plotted there, reflected it over the x-axis, and then reflected it over the y-axis. All right, we're going to model real life here, the last example. So I'll read to you guys in verbatim, but before I do that, let's look over here. So let's look at this coordinate plane here. So here's our y-axis, here's 0 to origin, below that are your negative integers, above 0 is your positive integers on the y-axis. Your x-axis, here's your origin 0, to the left are negative integers, to the right are positive integers on your x-axis. Now, your x-axis is labeled hours after midnight. So 1 hour after midnight, 2 hours after midnight, all the way to 9 hours after midnight. On your y-axis, it looks like this is the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. So here's your negative degrees Fahrenheit and positive degrees Fahrenheit. Now here's like a graph. So it says hours after midnight is your x values. Temperature is going to be your y values in Fahrenheit, degrees Fahrenheit. So let's read this model in real life. A blizzard hits a town at midnight. This table shows the hourly temperatures from midnight to 8 a.m. We're going to display the data in a line graph. So we're going to make a line graph here. If you don't know what that is, you'll know soon. So we're going to display this data in a line graph and then describe the temperature over time. So again, x over y. So here's your x values over your y values. Okay. So here we go. So it says to write the ordered pairs. So here's your x values and your y values. So if I make a t-chart, instead of a comma, I'm just going to go ahead and plug these guys in. Oops, I should have used the boxes, but it's okay. So here your x value is 0, but your y value is 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Here your x value is 1, your y value is 5 degrees Fahrenheit. X value is 2, y value is 3 degrees Fahrenheit. X value is 3, your y value is 0 degrees Fahrenheit. X value is 4, your y value is -1 degrees Fahrenheit. Here your x value is 5, your y value is -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Next one, your x value is 6, your y value is -5 degrees Fahrenheit. And then your x value is 7, your y value is -2 degrees Fahrenheit. And last one, your x value is 8, your y value is +2 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, these would be called ordered pairs, your x values and your y values. And we're going to use these ordered pairs and plot them on this coordinate plane. The first one, 0 and 7. So on the coordinate plane, here's 0. Okay, I don't have to go anywhere on the x-axis, but on the y-axis, I have to plot 7. Right there up top, 0 and 7. Cross it out. And then on the next one, the next ordered pair, +1 and +5. +1 here, +5. And then +2, +3. And then +3 on your x-axis and 0. And then we have +4 and -1. And then start at your origin, +5 on your x-axis. Okay, +5 and -4 right there. Okay, and then let's connect these dots. All right, there's our line graph. Let's keep going. And then we go +6 and then -5 right there. And then +7, start at your origin, +7, -2, -1, -2, right there. There we go, up. And then +8, start from your origin, +8 and +2, right there. All right, so again, we use this data here on the table, created ordered pairs, use these ordered pairs to plot these points on this coordinate plane. All right, so what we can say about this now, we plotted and labeled these ordered pairs, so I have to label it real quick. This is 0 and 7. This is 1 and 5. This one's 2 and 3. This one's 3 and 0. This ordered pair is going to be 4 and -1. This one's going to be 5. Let's see here. Actually, yeah, 5 and -4. This one is going to be 6 and -5. Then we have 7 and -2. And lastly, 8 and +2. So whenever you hear label your points, this is what we mean by labeling your points with the ordered pair. Okay, so this is a location. Now, so we connected it with a line segment. So a line segment's like this, boom, boom. This is how a line segment looks like. Right, and in between all these points are line segments. Okay. Now we can say that by looking at this graph here, that the hourly temperatures decrease from midnight all the way to 6 a.m. Okay, and then they increase from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. So the hourly temperatures decreased, meaning that it got cold from midnight, that's like 12 o'clock at night, to 6 o'clock in the morning, and then increased. That means it got warmer from 6 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock in the morning. All right, there we go. So again, it was what was asked of us was to understand this problem that a blizzard hits a town at midnight. This table shows the hourly temperatures from midnight to 8 a.m. It wanted us to display the data on a line graph. Okay, that was the first thing we needed to do. Got it done. And then describe the temperature over time, which we did right here by understanding and reading this graph, interpreting what it means. Okay, so that's what we got to do when we model real life problems. Okay, so there you guys go. That is the coordinate plane. Now, by now, for 8.5, you should be able to identify ordered pairs in the coordinate plane, which we just did here. You should also be able to plot ordered pairs in the coordinate plane and describe their locations, which we also did there. Okay, right here. And also reflect points on the X and Y axes or both axes, and also apply plotting points in all 4 quadrants to solve real life problems. All right, students, don't forget to ask questions, take advantage of the IXL opportunities when you practice. Get used to this because, you know, you're going to use this in 7th grade, 8th grade, high school, and beyond. So please understand the coordinate plane. And it's a lot of fun, so have fun with it. We'll see you guys.